Hello WCHS, it's Curtis Houghton and I'll be your anchor for this week's show. Today we'll be reviewing what happened at Dance Marathon and why people stood. We'll catch up with some of our off-season athletes, take a look at the NCC Art Show and how it went, learn a little about the Europe trip and the meetings that will take place and why we do it, and find out what's happening this week with Jay Clark. We'll be back right after this. Last week was one to remember if you love art. Last Thursday, the North Central Art Conference art show took place in the West Lobby throughout the day. 8 schools attended. These schools included Algona, Clarion Goldfield, Clear Lake, Hampton-Dumont, Isle Falls, Webster City, and St. Edmunds. Each school then had 15 pieces of artwork. It even had a few guest speakers, 2 of which were Tim Adams, a local sculptor, and Ben Fox, a resident tattoo artist. But that's enough for me. Kira, what else do we need to know?
I'm Kira Wagner, and I'm at the North Central Art Conference.
So the art show is kind of like state for art students. It is a bunch of schools that come together and the best artwork from each school, and they kind of get to display their artwork and students get to come and see the artwork as well. So it's just a really big fun day, but it's kind of like the easiest way to describe it is state for art students.
The most exciting part about the art show, I would say, is probably the fact that people from all over the state can come and see your artwork and you can see theirs as well.
It feels so awesome to have my piece in the show. I actually just won Judge's Choice for our school, so that's really exciting. I won Best of Show last year, so it's just really fun to be back in the show.
What led me to make my art piece was I was painting my emotions in J terms, so I wanted to paint one of my emotions that I deal with a lot, and I just really wanted to make an art piece that I could relate to and maybe other people could also relate to.
This piece was inspired by just like strangers and people we don't really know, and I just kind of wanted to do a tribute to the people that we, pass by in the street, and then we both end up walking the different way. So I just kind of wanted to take a moment to kind of work with that a little bit, and it was really fun for me to do something with that, so yeah. You have to be asked to be in the art show at our school. We do a lot of different mediums, so kind of whatever you want to do, and then you just bring it to your teacher, and they kind of decide what you should be bringing. Some people, even the teacher will recommend a piece of theirs to take.
All of these young talented artists need to be congratulated and honored. This has been Kira Wagner with Wctv.
Thank you, Kira. There were many beautiful pieces of artwork, just like this one made by Elia Cayetano Santiago, and tons more. Now, if art isn't for you, there are many other hobbies such as singing, dancing, and others. A well-known one is sports. And since we are all caught up on the spring sports, why don't we take a look into sports that aren't in full swing yet, like football, wrestling, and basketball. Kyle, let's see what you learned.
Here's Kyle, WCHS. Each new sports season brings a new flavor of competition to the air here at WCHS. We wanted to find out what some of these student athletes do on their time off from the sports season.
We just work on drills and things like that and speed training, and then we have a football camp in the summer, and then for wrestling we have a wrestling camp that we go to every year.
Usually my initial thought when a season's over is I gotta get ready for next season and make sure that our season isn't at the same place.
I think dedication is a lot of practicing off season because you need to stay dedicated to go to all of the lifting sessions and all of the speed trainings to get better for the season.
We wake up in the morning, we go to weightlifting, speed training, and we have our open gyms.
I think getting a lot of sleep helps waking up in the morning to do those other things.
I like to reflect on my season. I go and I write down how I feel the season went, what were my keys to success for the season.
I feel pretty happy. I feel pretty eager for the season to begin, and you never know if your team's going to be good or not until you actually play.
So much for basketball and just all sports. If you're going to go out for it, you might as well put in the extra work and be the best that you can possibly be at it.
It seems like dedication is something that you need throughout the school year in order to make it as a student athlete. This has been Kyle Ching reporting for Wctv.
If you like sports in season or off, then I bet you love Dance Marathon with all the activities. Dance Marathon includes hours of dancing, spike ball, volleyball, and much more. My personal favorite was 9 Square. Although Dance Marathon is a lot of fun, it is also a life-changing experience. Daniel found out why WCHS students stood in for 5 hours.
I stand because their message really speaks to me, and like when we saw Reese's story, it just kind of hit me in the heart, and I was like, that's really close to Webster City, and I just think it's really important to talk and learn about that stuff.
I stand for the kids because some kids can't stand and I can.
I stand for 5 hours because it's a lot easier compared to what the kids have to go through.
I stand for the kids because they face things I could have never faced their age.
I stand for the kids because I had a childhood friend die of cancer last year.
I stand for the kids because they can't.
I stand because those little kids who are sick can't and I can.
I stand because I know being on my feet for 5 hours is not nearly as hard as what other people are facing.
The reason why I stand for the kids is because they can't. I get to do all these things such as riding my bike, I get to play ball outside, I get to jump on the trampoline, I get to do all these things, but they are just stuck in hospitals all the time without any freedom. So since I get to walk, I need to give something to them.
I stand for the hope and the future of the kids who can't stand up for themselves.
I stand not only to help the kids myself, but also to try to get other kids to help kids. I like to think that when kids leave Webster City High School, if they've been involved with Dance Marathon, they'll continue to be involved and go and help a lot of other kids.
Thank you to all those that came and stood for those who can't. If you enjoyed participating in it, then here's something that will be just as much fun and involve just as much walking. That's right, I'm talking about the Europe trip. We had Jake find out all about it.
This is going to be my 10th trip to Europe, and in 2019 in the summer we're going to be going, it's called a Cold War Holocaust World War II tour. So we'll be going from Berlin, Germany, and we'll be going all over the city, and actually all 3 of those segments will be used. Then we go to Dresden, Germany, then we go to Prague, Czech Republic, then we go across the border to Krakow, Poland, and we end up in Auschwitz. So we'll be learning a lot of things on this trip. The requirements on the trip basically are that you are in high school. It's kind of nice if you're a sophomore or older just because you've learned a lot of these things, but you don't have to be. It costs around $5,000, but that's why we begin so early, so that people can pay monthly.
The meeting for the Europe trip will be next week during advisory, and the parents' informative meeting will be before Parade of Bands concert at 6 o'clock. If you need any further information, find Miss Garvey. It sounds like an enjoyable trip and a good experience. You will learn all about things like the Holocaust, and it will be a busy and quick-moving trip. That brings us nearing the end of the show, and if you're a frequent flyer, you know what that means. What's happening this week, Jake?
Howdy, 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 WCHS. It's a full week of events here, so head on out there and support the links. We start off this busy week on Monday, with the 16th, with a boys' tennis meet at Clear Lake at 4:30. Also on Monday, a girls' track meet at Gilbert at 5. Girls' soccer at Calhoun and Hampton-Dumont, also on Monday. There also happens to be a PTO meeting at Pleasant View at 4:30. On Tuesday, the 17th, we have a boys' golf meet at home with Algona and Clear Lake at 4:30. Also on Tuesday, there's a girls' golf meet at Algona with Clear Lake, also at 4:30. Again, on Tuesday, there's a boys' track meet invite here at 5 o'clock. We have a break on Wednesday, the 18th, with no events happening that afternoon. On Thursday, the 19th, there will be a boys' tennis meet at Iowa Falls Alden at 4:30. Also on Thursday, there's a girls' track invite here at 5 o'clock. There is also a boys soccer game on Thursday here with Clear Lake at 5:30. On Friday, the 20th, there is a boys golf meet here with at St. Edmunds with Clarion Goldfield Dows, and girls golf meet here with St. Edmunds and Clarion Goldfield Dows, both at 4:30. Also on Friday, a boys track meet at Pocahontas at 5 o'clock. Lastly, on Friday, we have a boys tennis meet at Hampton Dumont at 4:30. Rounding out the week, we have a boys golf in the Panorama Tournament at 9 o'clock in the morning. Also on Saturday, there is a girls tennis meet with Hampton here at 4:30. Hopefully you've been paying attention to our last few shows because they've been preparing you for prom, which is also on Saturday here at 9 o'clock with a prom walk before at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and an after prom held at Fuller Hall at 1 in the morning. That's what's happening this week. Back to you, Curtis.
Thanks for keeping us all caught up, Jake. And you're right, this week there sure is a lot going on with sports, and I know I'm going to try my best to attend, so I hope you all do too. That concludes the show for this week. Next week you will have Jake as your anchor and me back out in the field. This has been Curtis Houghton for WCTV.